For more on the movie, we're joined in studio by resident film critic Gail Edmonds and Timon Smith from the Sunday Times. Good morning, guys. Are you well?
Hi, Tony. Yes, well.
Well.
Timon, let me start with you on this movie. What were your thoughts, and how similar is it to the first one?
It's basically the first one retold in live action, so it's pretty much exactly the same.
Yep. But what's the difference? They're using this term live action.
Yeah.
But what does that mean?
So all this means that instead of animated characters, you have talking, singing, dancing real lions, warthogs, meerkats.
Yeah. You don't look very
in the real African
you don't
savannah.
look impressed. Tell me why.
I'm deeply unimpressed.
Why?
I just don't think it has the magic of the original. I think something about animation is that animation takes something real and then gives you another version of it in a different kind of medium. And I think the Broadway production does the same thing with theatre.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure that the film has the same kind of magic of the original. And basically, you know, I was a child when The Lion King came out.
Yep.
So maybe I'm just resentful and think that Disney are here to kill another great childhood memory of mine. You know, they've done it with Aladdin, Dumbo, everything else. So
yeah,
it was the turn of the Lion King.
You didn't like the purple Aladdin, did you?
No.
Okay, Gail, what are your thoughts?
I have to say I'm a little bit more inclined to be kinder about it, because I did, although I think that the photorealistic look of it is really beautiful to look at, the attention to detail that they did. Look, they didn't change the script much. They've added Beyonce and a few new songs, but I did take my 10-year-old, who had actually seen it in the morning as well at school, I didn't realize, and she saw it twice in the same day and loved it both times. So I guess they know their audience, which will be, and like Timon was saying, that it's been 25 years, so a full generation since the animated one. So I guess for many children, this will be their version of The Lion King, whether that is in a way sad, because the original animation was iconic.
But isn't that the point, though, from a Disney perspective? It's trying to cater for a new generation who's so used to all these CGI stuff, and I would assume, you know, the interactions were slightly different from the first one, maybe trying to cater to this new generation, Timon?
I mean, I think that they are trying to do this through technology. My feeling about Disney's live-action project really is that Disney has kind of lost or not shown a willingness to create new ideas so much as mine its own archive for remakes. And I'm not sure that that's necessarily the best way to go about it.
But Disney's making a lot of money
Disney
at the box office
is making a lot of money.
Moment.
So for critics like me who, you know, want to complain about cinema and, you know, that kind of thing, and story, we don't really have a leg to stand in. Disney is making the most money out of anybody. Thanks to this and the Marvel Comics universe, they're pretty much set for the next generation, the next 25 years.
Gail, for you, how are the voice actors this time around?
Oh, it was nice to see a bigger selection of African voices represented. It's nice. It's always nice to hear John Carney in there, and he does a beautiful job with us. You know, Rafiki's part, and I think the big build-up on Beyonce. Her part is pretty small in the end, but I think it was. I think Chiwetel Ejiofor did a great job with Scar. I thought he really did and of course James Earl Jones's voice as Mufasa. It's a nice link to the original.
Beyonce is Nala, isn't she?
Yes, the grown-up Nala. Yeah.
The grown-up Nala. But doesn't she have a bigger role in the movie this time around?
I think slightly bigger. We do see slightly more of her, but yes, she does only really appear in the last third or so. But it is. I think that it was nice to hear those additional voices that were African, and I think the soundtrack sounds beautiful still.
Yeah.
And I do think that the guys who put these things together are real artists. I mean, it does look beautiful.
Timon, I've got to ask you about the soundtrack as well. There's got to be something you picked out of here that impressed you. Say one thing.
No, I mean, the soundtrack is the soundtrack. There's the new song.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I'm the biggest fan of the new song, but the soundtrack is still great, you know. Leboem and Hans Zimmer's work stands the test of time, has through the course of the musical, does through the course of this film. It's always in these live actions. It is a bit weird when the characters do the singing and dancing in a way that it wasn't perhaps in the animation, just by virtue of the fact that you are seeing real animals. But all your favorite songs are there. All your favorite characters are there.
Okay. I'll give you the box office numbers. It's estimated to make about 180 odd million from release by the end of Sunday as well, which kind of justifies what Disney's trying to do here. But I still want to get to the crux of this live action thing, because I'm looking at the shots and the pictures. It looks so realistic. Were they actually using real animals?
No.
So where's the live part?
Well, that's actually a misnomer, because it's not really live action. It's CGI made to look real. So it's not live action. In the form of Aladdin was live action because it used real people. This isn't real animals, obviously.
Yeah.
I mean, there would be all sorts of outcries if that was the case. But I mean, and I also think from another perspective, which I suppose is the sort of, you know, since the original Lion King, half of Africa's lion population is gone.
Yeah.
So I think from an ecological point of view, this is also important for children to see. You know, and maybe it does raise a little awareness too, while they're all enjoying Hakuna Matata.
I got a chance to speak with John Carney yesterday, and he says there's this movie is a lot more African than, you know, the previous one, and that should resonate more with, because it's supposed to, it's an African story, isn't it? And they've made it a lot more African this time around. Did you find that, Timon?
I think that both versions of The Lion King, one of the things I spoke to John Carney and Lebo M a few days ago, and one of the things they were raising, Lebo M especially, who had been involved in the original, is that the original story was also commendable for the fact that it wasn't a patronizing story about Africa.
Yeah.
And I think that this one takes that to a deeper level on that front. A lot of dignity is given to the landscape, to the characters, and I think that's a good thing.
Yeah.
And it's perhaps combined with the success of Black Panther, The Lion King is the next phase in kind of Hollywood trying to give African stories proper consideration and not all be kind of dark continent, bad place, corruption stories. And so for that it should be commended, I think.
Yeah, that's a good point, I suppose, if you're looking at the fact that we're coming out of Black Panther just a year back. One of the things as well is that the movie seems to be a little more self-aware in some of the dialogue as well. You've got Pumbaa and Timon is, you know, when Simba grows, when they're singing Hakuna Matata, and the dialogue goes, they speak about the fact that he's grown so quickly. You know what I mean? A little bit more Deadpool type, sort of aware that, you know what, this is, we're in a movie here. Why is that?
Well, I guess also I must say the children found it very funny. Like they find that element of it very funny, and they also use a little bit of the Beauty and the Beast. And I guess maybe it's just for a new generation of humour, because I must say my daughter thought it was hilarious. All that stuff.
You obviously don't like Deadpool, do you?
I don't like Deadpool, sorry.
All right.
Deadpool, I didn't buy Deadpool.
Okay, I love Deadpool. Timon, okay, final thought from you. Should people go out and see it?
Look, people are going to go and see it, no matter what I think about it. I think The Lion King has enough kind of hype and nostalgia behind it that it's going to be very successful, and a lot of people are going to see it and make up their own minds. I think that for a younger audience, it's definitely going to be popular.
Yeah.
And I think it will get a new generation on board.
Okay, Gail, your thoughts?
I agree. I think if you've got kids, you haven't an option. You will go and see this, and I think you will enjoy it, you know. I mean, there are many things to talk about, but on the whole, the kids are going to love it.
Okay, fantastic. So thank you, guys. Film critic Gail Edmonds, Timon Smith from the Sunday Times joining me talking about The Lion King.